Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. I do hope everyone is still doing well, and welcome to today's bonus upload. Before we jump into it, a couple quick links. As many of you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, channel membership, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon, PayPal, and channel membership is in the description below. Merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It does not cost a cent. Click the like button, takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads that I put out daily, click that bell icon, and folks, please leave a comment. Why? Well, because all of these things really do help the channel to continue to grow and go. And yes, they definitely do matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's jump into today's bonus, shall we? Alright, so today's bonus is extra special for me, and I hope you guys too. Because I was going through some of the old recordings I had of Victor, and I had found one which was one of the very first interviews done with Victor, and it was before he actually shared his real name. He was using an alias, which was William, and if you ask me, when he first came on as William, he shared a lot of information at that point too. And they were great interviews because they were exciting, new, and such. All the interviews with Victor were amazing, but I really, when I found this one, a big smile went across my face because I was like, wow, I have not heard this interview in 3 years. So I hope you guys like it. All right, guys, tonight I've got something extra special for you. I've got William on the line with me. William?
Hey, everybody.
And
glad to be back with y'all.
And what we're going to do is, instead of doing a Q&A, Bill and myself were chatting for a while, and we decided to have kind of like a sit down, let's just BS it, talking, and, you know, get to know Bill and not have so much formality to everything. I think we can get a lot more information, and just to get to really know who William is and experience William. So he was down for it, and I think it's a good idea. Last night I was talking about a subscriber who reached out to me, and his name was Zach, and he was concerned about getting in trouble for bringing a rifle on the hunting property, and the werewolf stating there's two kind of misconceptions there. William, would you like to shine some light on the werewolf, on what he said?
Okay. Yeah, Zach, you're not going to be in any trouble for carrying a rifle on your hunt club. That's for sure. And what the werewolf was doing, I'm certain it came from the breeding program. And what he was doing, he got missed his words. And what he was saying was, or trying to say was, that he was going to protect you and your father while y'all was on that property. If anything was to arise that y'all got in trouble, that he was going to take care of you and your dad. Not that he was asking for y'all to take care and protect him, but he was going to protect y'all. So it's kind of like you've made a peace treaty with this werewolf, and he is going to be taking care of you now. It's kind of like you've kind of got like a friend, like I do. But take this now. Don't get overconfident with him, and always watch him. Always keep your eye on him.
So he's kind of got like a guardian angel, but he's got to be extra cautious.
Yes, and always carry protection with you. Never go in the woods without your protection. Never.
Is this the first time that have you heard of anything like this before, besides Sebastian, and the three of them when they rescued you? Have you heard of any civilians of this happening before, or no?
This is how the breeding program is supposed to work. This is how they should be acting towards humans. This is what they're supposed to be. This is what the breeding program instills in them. After that, while we've got them in there, and the subliminal persuasion and everything that we use towards them, this is what they're supposed to do towards a human, is to protect the American people. This is what they are supposed to do. This right here is a prime example of it. But he got his words mixed up. He said it instead of the way he worded it. He should have said that he was here to guard you, not you to guard him.
So that must make you feel pretty good that the program that you've been involved with for most of your adult life is working. It's,
Yes, it makes me feel really good. If we could get the Dogman on board with that, I would be thrilled. But the Dogman's not working out as well as the werewolf has.
Right.
So.
Now, we had talked about this a little earlier, excuse me, and I said, a lot of people were wondering about the long, probably it was like a 10-day hunt for a Sasquatch across a couple of states. And I was wondering if you don't have to go into, an hour-long story, because I know we want to get a couple more things, into it. But would you care to share a little bit of that with us?
Yeah. There was a Bigfoot that was stealing pigs or hogs from a place in Rainbow City, Alabama. And this was over a period of about 3 years. There had been 11 agents that went after this Bigfoot. And finally, I got my chance to go after him. And I told the CO I wasn't coming back till I got him. So I get taken to Rainbow City, dropped out, go to this pig farm, and they've got a closed circuit TV, real grainy. I mean, it was bad, but you could see what was going on. But you can see this thing come into this enclosure, and this covered barn, didn't have sides on it, but you could see him come in and reach over into this pen and pick up this hog that weighed 700 pounds and put it on his shoulders and walk out of there with this hog and leave with it. It was alive when he left with it. Well, I get down there 2 days after he's stolen this hog and talked to the man, and he had taken, this was like 13 hogs that he had stolen from this place, anywhere, he said, 500 to 800 pound hogs. This one, he said, weighed 700 pounds. So I start tracking him. He's headed west. And I get out, start out through there, and if anybody's from the south, they know how the soil is. And it's not, you know, it wasn't a real rainy season. And these tracks are 2.5, 3 inches deep in places. So, you know, he's got a 700 pound hog, and I'm figuring this fellow weighs probably close to 800 pounds. So he's carrying his own body weight, you know, on top of his shoulders. And leaving 2.5-inch tracks. They was 19 inches long, 8.5 inches wide at the toes, and 6.5 inches at the heel. I track him first day, get west of I-59, camp out, get up early the next morning, start out again, making good headway, still following tracks are still just as deep as there was. And the following day, on the third day, I find the hog, or what's left of the hog. And what's missing from the hog is the 2 hams, the back strap, and the 2 shoulders. And that is all that's taken. But you can actually see in this hog where it has taken its hand and ripped these pieces of the meat out. You can see where it took its hands and ripped these pieces of the meat out. But at this place, there's a second set of tracks that's joined it, has came to this place and met it. And they're a lot smaller. I guess they're there to help it carry this meat is all I can figure. But anyway, I start tracking, and I continue tracking. This goes on for the next, let's see, it was the third day. The third day, I think it was. I looked up on the ridge above me, and I seen a small Bigfoot. First I've seen of them. And it left before I got my count broke, and I'm going on and still tracking the tracks of the big ones. Big Bigfoot, the one that I'm tracking, is down to about 1.25 inches now. So it's about what he should be leaving his normal tracks. 5th day, I finally spot him for the first time. He's probably 1,200 yards away from me. You know, no way to get a shot off at him. And he's looking back at me, and I'm looking at him. And so he takes off. I take off after him, and I start really pushing him. I start running. And back in them days, I could run probably 15, 16 miles running in a day, and then, you know, do some walking and all. So I was covering a good amount of territory, so I was pushing him pretty hard. And it went on there. I didn't see him for a couple more days. I think it was the 7th day before I got to see him again. And we was up on the north. We had crossed into Mississippi. And I was at the north end of Mississippi and we was halfway or further across the state of Mississippi, and he turned south, like he's going due south now. And he's following this small river tributary down through there. And I decide I'm going to get ahead of him, or try to. And I run through the night, down through the fields beside this tributary, trying to get ahead of him. And up to about, 2 or 3 o'clock the next day, and stop, look, search around. I can't find no tracks, and I decided I've got ahead of him, or he's either circled back behind me, or he's crossed that tributary. So I set up and wait on him there for a good while. And I figure, well, I need to double back and see if he's actually came through yet, or if he's doubled back on me, or if I need to double back on him and go back. Well, I walked back for approximately an hour, and he's caught either wind of me or had seen me and doubled back. I found his tracks. He had crossed the river, found where both of them had crossed the river. I got across the river, and it got dark on us, and I camped another night too. Finally, it came down, got to the 10th day, and I found where it went into a cave system. And didn't want to go in there. I was trying to talk myself out of it. Cave systems get you in trouble. So much can go wrong inside of a cave, you know. Just everything can go wrong. I was looking inside of it now. It looked like it wasn't about 4 foot high. I could see where it went in. So I followed him in, maybe 250, 300, 400 feet. I could hear something starting to growl. So I stopped and was waiting, trying to wait it out. Let it come to me. I figured that'd be the best way. Trying to think whether to back out or go forward. I was shining my light forward, and it looked like it opened up in about so much further forward that it looked like it opened up maybe 40 or 50 feet in front of me. And I was about ready to back out, and then I heard something, and sounded like something sliding behind me. And I looked behind me, and there was 2 smaller ones crawling out behind me. I don't know where they came from behind me, but they was probably 30, 40 feet behind me, and they was crawling out behind me. And I knowed it wasn't the one I was hunting. So I stayed put, started to back out again, and then I decided, no, the only way to do this was to go forward. So I went forward, and I got into this large chamber. It opened up, and sure enough, he was in this large chamber, and we faced off right there. And I shot him one time, and he went down, and it was over. And I came back out of the cave and got on the satellite radio and called out and got them to send me 5 more men in the pilot, and we drug him out using ropes, and we had to drag him about 1,200 yards to where we could get him on to a helicopter to get him out of there. And that was a chore, but there was, like I said, there were 7 of us. He ended up, he was about 8 foot 8 inches tall and weighed a little over 800 pounds. So he was a good size Bigfoot. Drug him out of there. He was a big bunch of bones, from pigs and hogs and deer, and 2 humans was in there. So they had actually taken some lives, but we don't know where they came from.
Now, when you guys dragged them out of the cave with the ropes, and then you did the exploration of the cave, I'm assuming, with the bones. Were the human bones, had they been there for a while, or were they fairly new?
They'd been in there for a while. Yes.
Okay, so it could have been a long time.
They could have been 10, 12, 14 years old.
Okay. Now, I know me and you have talked about this, but just so everyone else understands it. Now, when you said that Sasquatch turned at 1,200 yards and saw you, they're not like the Bigfoot or the Dogman or the werewolf. They have no knowledge of your team because they weren't in the breeding program. They just think you're the average hunter. So is that normal?
They don't know me from nobody.
So is that normal for them to just take off from someone like that? They just want to...
Yes, they just want to go away.
Okay, so there's two, since we've been talking, there's 2 things that, you've shared with us that prove, everything you've been saying is true. The breeding program works, and it's doing what exactly it needs to do. And these things don't want anything really to do with humans unless they are provoked, or pushed, or very hungry.
That's correct.
So now, I know throughout all of these questions, I've been trying to, look and see a lot of things that were mentioned. When you brought up the feet size, the foot size there, I instantly thought about the Canadian, I forgot the subscriber's name. It was a female. She had wanted to know more about the Canadian giant that you had hunted. Is that something that you can get into, or is that classified, or can you maybe share a little bit of that with us?
Yeah, I'll share what I can of it. I had just become a full bird colonel, and the CO had sent 3 men up there, 3 agents, to do actually some reconnaissance to see if they could find anything. Their goal was to go up there and locate it. And they had been up there several days, and they called in and said they was on the Idaho, Montana, and Canadian line, and that they had found 26-inch tracks, fresh tracks, that was actually on the inside the United States in Montana. And the CO asked them if they had a visual, and the answer was no. And he asked them to stay safe, get a visual, and to call back in with how many men they thought it would take to kill it and to get it out, but not to approach it, just the 3 of them. And that was their orders, just to make a visual. So, got off the radio. That was the last contact we had with them for 10 days. somebody to go to check on them because the protocol was broke. They didn't radio back in. So I went myself. They dropped me about 30, 40 miles from their last known location. I walked in and I got to the Canadian, Idaho, and Montana border where they gave their last position at. I walked about 4 miles into Montana. I found a backpack, about 200 rounds of spent ammunition, and 2 rifles that was bent. And that's all I found. I then spent about 5 days, 4 or 5 days, hunting their bodies and never found them. I then was pulled out of the area.
That's, and you were just there, you know, like you were just like a regular military person would never leave a troop behind. That's what you were there
That's
for.
right.
You were just,
yeah.
And
I was there to recover bodies.
When you said 26 inches, now the 8 foot, what was it, 8 foot 8 or something, Sasquatch with a 19-inch, that's 7 inches larger. So we're talking, this thing was, whatever it was.
15 foot probably.
Yeah, I was going to say about 14, 15 foot. And what's the largest Sasquatch that you've come across in your, or read about or anything?
The biggest I've seen is 12 foot 4.
So this probably wasn't, I mean, you don't like speculating. No. You only like, you know, you don't like to talk about anything that's not, that you don't have solid fact on, but this was more than likely not a Sasquatch.
No. The 12 foot 4 one had 20 and a quarter inch feet.
That's ginormous. Jeez, I'm crow.
Yeah.
So now, when you were full bird colonel, you were going out doing these missions. Now that you're a CO, you keep going out and doing this. Is that mandatory? Is that what your job entails? That you're supposed to be doing this? Like your other CO, the CO that was before you, he seemed very laxed and lazy. Was his job, was he supposed to go out in the field?
I'm supposed to go out and take care of hot spots. I'm supposed to take a 6-man team, go out and rid hot spots when we have hot spots. And there's 61 across the USA right now. But I've got to get back to full manpower before I can do that. I've got 2 teams working hot spots right now, but I'm staying in the office. I've got 1 team working a case in Georgia. And, but this former CO, he wasn't leaving the office. He was sending me to take care of hot spots.
Now, really quick, the Georgia is that the doctor that
Yes it is.
Can you shine some light on that, or is that something that you can't talk about yet, or
it's it is a pack of Dogmen, and evidently they did something to get her to pull the car to the wrong side of the road, and she either exited the vehicle or they got her out of the vehicle.
Yeah, because her body was on the other side of the road from the vehicle, correct?
It was. And they have been after them since the following day and still haven't caught up to them. But they are still hunting.
And
at this point.
that doctor was a very educated woman. She did a lot in the medical.
Highly.
Yeah. So there had to be some sort of plan or some sort of ambush, because a smart, intelligent woman. Yeah. Yeah. I every time I hear about Dogman and doing these crazy things, I always get reminded of the New Hampshire incident with the ambulance. And that story, when that subscriber reached out to me, it blew my mind at how intelligent the Dogman is, and just mercifulness. It's just a savage killing machine.
That's correct.
But like we had said previous talking, that it's nothing as intelligent as the Sasquatch or the werewolf, which the werewolf is, right under us, it seems, because it's got a language, it can understand, it can read, it's got cognitive thinking. It's, and I said this to you a while back, that it's like the Dogman is the retarded inbred cousin of the werewolf. And, it's just, I don't even know. Sometimes the whole premise of them still being free to roam around is I can see the werewolf being active, but these things are so uncanny and unpredictable. But you've had a lot of success with them too. I mean, you said just recently you did a call out to them, and I think there was 10 that you called out, and a bunch came back with them.
What Canada has gave me permission to monitor all of Canada, and when I have them go up there, when I do have them cross the line out of the states to go up there, I do call them back immediately, because Canada has been good to us about this. I immediately call them back, and I had 10, I can't remember if it was 10 or 12 that was tagged. I called back, and when they got back, I think it was 10. I had 27 more that came back with them. That was wild. That wanted to go into the program. And they can get their point across to you about this program. They've got a way of communicating with us.
Is it?
But I can't go into that.
Right. Yeah, now when they come in, is there a certain protocol that is? I mean, I'm sure you just don't have them come in and they get tagged and you ship them. I'm sure there's.
No, they go through a wellness check, make sure they're not diseased. They go through all kind of, fitness, get all kind of shots, and everything. Their health is horse when they leave back out of here.
So there's veterinarians that specialize or doctors or some sort of medical.
Yes. Well, yeah, there's 7 veterinarians for werewolves. There's 5 for the Dogman. And at one time there was 4 for the Bigfoot, but they're no longer, they're no longer around.
Right.
The program. And I don't understand why they didn't just go back out and get another male while they had the females like they did.
Yeah.
Because now, if the program, if we wanted to do the program again, we would have to get another male and get the females, and that's the hardest one of all of them to get.
Is the female?
Well, the female and the male,
okay.
both of the, they're the hardest ones to get.
No, it was the male, right? That was the issue in the first one.
Yes.
Okay. So he could have been old, sick, or there could have just been.
Yeah, there's no way to know their age.
Right.
I mean, Sebastian don't know his age. They aged him when they caught him at age 12. When they caught him at 52, which would make him 80 now, which they claim that's the lifespan of one. So, any time now could be his,
Yeah.
But they don't know his lifespan for sure.
Right, that's what I was just going to say. Because
estimating it.
Yeah, there's no way of really knowing. I mean, that's pretty much a guesstimate, It's like, okay, well,
that's right.
Going by wild ones or,
Yeah, he was wild. He is a wild one.
Right, but I'm saying, like, getting an age off, like, just visuals, I mean, right now it's still a learning process because he's one of the very first ones, I'm pretty sure, right?
They estimated the first Dogman to be 10 years old. And when they captured it in 54. And Raphael came in 85, the same year that I came in. The first original Dogman died in 85. So Raphael, he's not the original Dogman that came in. Raphael came in the same year I did. The original Dogman died in 85 of old age.
Good to go.
Okay. Raphael died and came in 85. The original Dogman died in 85. So they estimated the original Dogman to be 65 years old.
Just going off the age they gave him when they caught him.
When they caught him, yes.
Right. But I think, like you had said, there's, like when we were talking about Sasquatches and stuff, there's no way to age them, Like you had said one time that you can't go by their teeth or, anything. It's just,
What do you age them by? I mean, you can open a horse's mouth and kind of get an age off of them to age them by. But, I mean, I ain't gonna open a Dogman's mouth to try to age him.
Yeah.
I mean, I might try Sebastian, but...
Yep. So, another interesting thing that gets brought up by the subscribers, and, I think it's very interesting to all of us, is the cave dwellers in Tennessee. And
oh, yes.
That is just, like you said, it's the missing link almost,
Yeah. That is the third set of them that we've encountered. My dad's teams encountered 2 sets of them prior to me. This was my first set.
When your dad encountered them, real quick, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but was that in the same area or?
No, both of their teams came out of West Virginia.
Okay.
So it was mountainous area, and it's on the eastern Appalachians mountains. Yes.
Part of the Appalachian Trail in that area? Okay.
Yes. It's part of the Appalachians. And, but yeah, there's some thick people. Homo erectus or something like that is what they classify them as. And I'd hated to went one-on-one with any of the men, and I'm in tip-top shape. So
Yeah.
I mean, they're thick, they're muscled. They ain't got puffy muscles. They got the long muscles.
Like farmer strong.
Yeah, yeah. They had tools. They had, stone axes, things like this. We brought it all back. We took everything in the caves. We was gonna try to keep the old man alive, but he came at us with an axe, and that wasn't possible.
Right.
We wanted to try to keep one alive, but it was impossible. I mean, every one of them, even the women, made it where you couldn't do that.
Yeah, it's like they didn't want to come with you, and they defended to the end,
I mean, I bear the scars.
Yeah, I don't know if I can say I was fortunate to see a couple of pictures, but they were not pleasant. And it didn't look like they were pleasant to, I definitely, whew. These things are almost like exactly like what I said, a missing link, like part of an ancient civilization. You said you'd find tools, pottery, they use fire.
They use fire.
We had talked a while back or earlier, they're hunter-gatherers, and that's what the first, before we learned how to farm, that's what these people was hunter and gathering, and they needed that strength and, the fearless raw power or whatever. How would you classify them as intelligence, like as intelligent as a Sasquatch or smarter?
I don't know where I would put them on it. They was just
primitive
brute force.
I wonder if they've ever, I'm sure there's probably been that 1 in a million chance that these human pre-human things met up with a Sasquatch or one of the big three. I bet you they know about them, and I wonder if there's any. Did you see any hieroglyphs or any writings on the wall or any
No, there wasn't nothing like that inside the cave.
Huh.
What gave them away? What gave their location away? They actually had a hole through the top of the cave where the smoke would come out the top.
Oh, okay.
And how they did that? That thing was probably 30 foot up through there. And how they got that board up through there, I don't know how they got that done. But they did.
Yeah. They got some intelligence not to die of carbon monoxide poisoning, at least,
Yeah.
So.
To have that fire inside that cave that far back in there, because it was 200 feet back in there.
Yeah.
And warm,
Now, with the old man, if you or any of them, would they have been kept for a while, or like with the reptilian thing?
Yeah, they would have kept them alive and studied them and tried to kept them alive and studied them as long as they could. They're still studying them now.
Right.
Bodies.
You think there's any more out there somewhere?
I'm sure there are somewhere.
That's scary. I don't know. I don't know if that's more scarier than the big three or what. I don't.
Well, the Kentucky, for some reason, has reports of them all the time.
Huh.
On the Appalachian Trail.
I just keep thinking of that movie Descent whenever I think about those things. They weren't cave creatures or cave men like that and that, but they were like, I can't imagine just the primitive, just oh God, that must have been terrifying. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
even for you to, you know, I mean, you've dealt with some serious shit, and I'm sure that you've had a couple of times where it's been hairy for you, and
Yeah. I'll be glad when I can tell you my most scariest one, but I gotta get it cleared yet.
So
I told you about it, but
yeah, yep. Now, a lot of people, I know you've mentioned 12 types of cryptid. I know you don't have your files in front of you. The Goatman, that thing is evil. It seems like with the big three, an encounter can go one way or another. Could go good, like the case of last night with Zach, or it could go real bad. But it seems like the Goatman, every time there's a encounter, it's always a violent encounter. Do you know anything about that? Like,
yeah, everything. It's never good. It's never a good turnout with the Goatman. I've never hunted. I've hunted, never found. I've got one agent that's hunted and came back with one. Got pictures of it. And to read his file, that's something I need to write up and put out there for a story for y'all.
Yeah,
that's one I need to write up.
I think people would like to hear that, because that's one of the ones that, you know, I mean, people hear about it, and unfortunately, with like the Bigfoot, the Dogman, the werewolf, all these other things, this creepypasta phenomenon and the Reddit pages have pretty much ruined it. You know, with like even native lore, it's just now it's become just you don't know what's real or not. I mean, you really don't know anyway. That's why it's called cryptozoology. But there used to be some sort of, you know, like, there wasn't creepypasta involved. There wasn't these crazy stories that, you know, fictitious, you know. So I'm sure a lot of people would love to hear a true Goatman account. Yeah, that would be really amazing.
Okay.
So
I'll be glad when I get to the point where I can post your pictures for you.
Yeah.
That'll be something to look forward to. Jersey Devil Mothman.
Yeah, the Jersey Devil. You went looking for that, right, or no?
Yeah. I searched for it. I found nothing. So
it's almost like that. I mean, there's so many myths and legend about that. It's the 13th son of a witch, and you know, it's part of the devil, or, you know, but you can't really discount anything, especially nowadays. You know, there's just so much that that's coming to light now, you know, it's unimaginable.
No. I mean, John Sumner, one of your subscribers, John Sumner, he asked about mermaids.
Yeah.
You know, and they're for real. They've got them. They got them at Beaumont, South Carolina in tanks. You know, they're for real. I don't know if they're trying to militarize them or not. Now that's not my field.
Right.
You know, my field consists of things that's on 4 legs or 2 legs, and it's on the land. And that's our specialty.
Yep.
And which mostly consists of 3 things, mostly.
Yes.
But you know, we've got black cats. We've got El Chupacabra. We've got Mothman falls under us. Jersey Devil falls under us. Dogman, werewolf, Bigfoot, gargoyles. I mean,
giants.
giants.
What about? I've seen a couple people.
Goatman.
Yeah, I've seen a couple people write about fairies or the small troll.
Gnomes.
Do they are they?
Trolls.
Have you witnessed those?
I've never seen.
Never. Okay. So it's something that's not in the enclosures or anything?
Nothing we have down there.
Okay.
Only right now, we've got dogmen, we've got werewolves, we've got reptilians, we've got domesticated animals that we use to train these creatures with.
The reptilians for some reason, is a hot topic as of late. I don't know if it's because of the political things that are going on or what it is, but people are asking a lot of questions about those.
Yeah, they always think a lot of people think there's a lot of them in office, and at present time, I can say there's none high-ranking officials that's holding any office that are reptilians. I can say that with 100% certainty.
Right. I got something, and I just remembered, you and I had talked a little bit before we did this. A subscriber, when you and I were talking the first time we did this, and it was more formatted, one of the questions or statements, it almost seemed trollish, and it was actually, but the comment was, it didn't make sense, the acreage underground, and there not being electric line, telephone line, and I could instantly answer that as I was reading it. Like, you're not going to see a substation. There's going to be something above it. Did you catch that one? I don't know if you caught that one where the person said, there's got to be some sort of lines, or, this is a lie. There's not that big of a something underground. And I don't know if you saw that or not.
I don't know if I've seen that or not.
But I mean, it's a pretty simple answer your own question on that. It'd be like building a basement. Yeah, exactly. There's going to be
just larger.
Yep.
The Virginia facility, my enclosures up there, I have 78 enclosures that are 8 acres or larger. Each one of the enclosures. That's not counting the walk between or drive between areas which are 12 feet, where you can drive a golf cart between them. I have to have that room to drive where I can get the feed through, and everybody can travel through there.
Yeah.
It's lit. It's on timers. Everything's it's like daylight and dark at times, and we have to, like Sebastian tomorrow night, I'm taking him out. I just hope it ain't a full moon. I hadn't even checked.
I'm not really sure. I know I'm not probably going to see a full moon up here for a little bit because the storm's moving in, but there might be. Who knows?
It's getting close.
Yeah. I know that there's something you got planned in the future.
Oh, yeah.
You want to share that with everybody?
Yep.
All right.
I picked a subscriber because he asked such good questions. He goes by the name Jack Hansen. And I picked Jeff. And I'm getting both of them vetted so they can come to my facility in Virginia. And this is going to be when Jeff gets himself well. He has to be well so we can go into the enclosures with me and Jack. And there's going to be a photo session taken. And they will be posted on the internet of him and Jack and Sebastian.
And I'm excited. When I wasn't on the phone with you when you notified Jack of this, but I know when I got the notification from you, I had two feelings flooded. I was thrilled and happy and nervous all at once because it was just like a dream come true. But I don't know what's I feel like I'm either gonna be so awestruck and happy or afraid, that I may just pee my pants. And I thought that, and I giggled to myself when you said that after, when we were talking and you told me that. And in my head, I was like, I'm going to piss my pants when I see Sebastian. Because, this is a dream come true. And I am, couple, 3 months away. And this is going to be amazing. And what's crazy is I vetted you. Everybody's like, vet him. He's lying. And now you're vetting me. And another thing is out of, I think there's at least 30 of the Q&As and, you and I together. Everything that you have ever said has just matched. There's never been a differ. It's always on point. Even if it's weeks away, you could get a troll from 1 week to try to, say something and bam, you've got the exact same, you've never, and so this is amazing, so right now I know heart of heart that you're 100% true. And heart of heart now, it's really scary because I'm going to see a werewolf. And wow. How was Jack on that? How did he act on that? Was he excited?
He said he didn't know how he was going to react when he seen it. He said he didn't know if he'd poo himself or how it would go when he seen it.
Yeah, because, we're not you. We're just the average, just because I have my channel and I have had so many, I've had my own encounter, but I was 18 years old and I still question it sometimes because that's what human nature is. And it's the society telling us that it doesn't exist, even though I hear and read all of these encounters and talk to so many people. This is going to be in front of my face. I'm gonna be able to smell his.
I'll be able to touch.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have a conversation with a werewolf, and I'm wow.
He's gonna wrap his hand around your face.
That's not nice.
He'll be gentle.
Oh, I'm sure. He's your best friend. So, I think we've done a pretty knockout job on this one. Is there anything else you'd like to, just something that you want to throw in?
Just everybody enjoy the forest and stay safe out there, but enjoy it. That's what it's out there for.
Yeah, and Zach
Y'all
said
let
that.
this program work. That's what this program's for. Is for these creatures out there to take care of y'all.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the whole thing.
And the email that I got from Zach after sharing his encounter, he said that same exact thing. He said the same. I went out to sit on the hill and observe nature because it's beautiful, and not a lot of us do it. And
right.
This program, he said, this program really works. And it's amazing that this werewolf is, it got its words mixed up, but protect us, like he's from the breeding program, but he's been out in the woods for a while. It just shows, and it must make you feel great. I mean, something that you've been involved with, your father was involved with, and just to, one day you're hunting them down, the ones that go off track, and then to hear a good outcome is really cool. So.
And I don't get to hear many of them. I really don't. And to hear it is amazing to get to hear that story. And, I do get to hear some. I don't hear many, but I do hear some. And I got one more thing I want to add. That first story last night that you read.
Yep.
That young boy that was...
Yeah, the 16-year-old, yeah.
He was faced with a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
And why?
Did he get in the car again?
Yeah, why? Would you get back in the car with that thing?
Yep.
You braver than I am.
And, yeah. And, we had a talk about that today, and, that was, you said that to me, and then I was, you said, why would it do that to that 16-year-old kid? And, I came up with the conclusion just because I've got family members on the res up north. There's a lot of, unfortunately, there's a lot of poverty on reservations and that area. And it could have been a Native American. More than likely, if it was a shapeshifter, it was. And he could have been under the influence and just did it as a thrill. Or there might be something that this poor guy doesn't know, and maybe in the future he'll find out, unfortunately. But, I wouldn't have gotten back in the car. He is, one brave son of a gun.
You're a brave man. You're a brave man to get back in that car.
Yep. So
I might have rode back, but it had been on the hood.
Yeah. Or at least, hang off the top of the roof of the car and just kind of like hydroplane it.
Yep. Okay.
But yeah, today went great. I'm really happy with everything. I liked this because it was more real. It was a good feeling to just be able to shoot the shit with you and get things out, instead of being so formatted and answering the same questions over and over again. And, so I think we should do some more of these community talks or whatever we'll call them. I don't know. Backyard gab session.
Yep.
But so I'm gonna bid everyone farewell for the evening, and I want everyone to stay safe. William?
Me too. Y'all stay safe. Enjoy the forest. Make sure to go out there. Carry something to protect yourself always. I'll tell you, I condone that. But always carry something. But enjoy the outdoors. And I bid you farewell for the night. Good night, everybody.
And there you have it, folks. I do hope you all enjoyed this bonus as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. Wow, just an old interview. And I never will forget the time when he reached out to me for the first time. And, you know, I made him send credentials. I was like, I need to see credentials before we go any further. I hope you don't think that I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I want to make sure that you are who you say you are. And when he did, I was blown away. So with that, I'd like to thank you all for supporting the channel. It is your support that keeps the channel growing and going, and what gives us all a place and a chance to share our experiences and theories judgment-free. Everyone is treated with the respect that we deserve. Please stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant, keeping an eye on our children, pets, family, and friends. These creatures are real. They are out there and dangerous. Share this information with those you love and care about, and it may just help save their lives someday. Until next time, never stop asking questions, never stop searching for the truth, and God bless you all.